Welcome to our deep dive into Susan Jeffers' Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway.
Oh, this one's a classic.
It is, right. It's one of those self-help books that really seems to have stood the test of time. And, for good reason.
Yeah.
It's packed with, really practical advice. And it has, thought-provoking concepts that can help you, really kind of break free from that fear that holds so many of us back and take charge of your life. I mean, we're talking endorsements from, Louise Hay.
Wow.
Jack Canfield. These people don't just, hand those out to anyone.
No.
So today what we're going to try to do is really distill the essence of Jeffers' message, focusing on the tools and techniques that you can actually use to start feeling more empowered in your everyday life.
One of the things that always strikes me about this book is how Jeffers just acknowledges right up front that fear is a universal experience. She even talks about her own fear classes that she used to teach, and how she noticed that everyone, regardless of background accomplishments, every single person was dealing with some level of anxiety.
It's so true. Yeah. It's like we all walk around.
Yeah.
And we think we're the only ones struggling with these. And it makes it feel so isolating,
Yeah, it does.
But the reality is everyone feels fear.
Oh, absolutely. It's just part of being human. And the amazing thing is just realizing that you're not alone. Mm-hmm. That in itself is incredibly freeing. It kind of helps you break free from that shame that we often attach to fear, and it opens up the possibility of connecting with others who really get what you're going through.
Right.
It's like it normalizes it. And recognizing that shared experience can actually be that first step toward actually overcoming those fears.
I love that. And, Jeffers doesn't stop at just acknowledging the fear.
Right.
He really dives into understanding it. And she has this system where she breaks down fear into these 3 distinct levels.
Yeah, the 3 levels of fear.
I found that to be a really helpful way of kind of getting a handle on it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a brilliant way to kind of demystify fear and see it for what it really is. Mm-hmm. So, the first level, kind of the most superficial level, involves those external fears, the things that happen to us or require us to take action. Mm-hmm. So it's like that fear of, getting sick or losing your job or, speaking in public, the things that are kind of right there in front of us.
Right. Or even more kind of everyday fears, fear of spiders.
Sure. Yeah.
Things like that.
Absolutely.
Okay. So that's level 1. What about level 2?
So level 2 goes a little bit deeper.
Okay.
It's about that fear of taking specific actions, often rooted in a fear of rejection.
Oh, interesting.
So things like, maybe you're afraid to ask for a raise, mm-hmm. or you're afraid to, start a new relationship, or even just express your opinion, Right. You're kind of holding back because you're afraid of how other people might respond.
I see, yeah. Okay, so we've got external fears, fear of taking action.
Right.
What's level 3?
And, these first 2 levels are important.
Yeah.
But Jeffers really argues that the real game changer, the fear that kind of fuels all the others, is level 3, which is the fear of not being able to handle whatever life throws your way. It's that underlying feeling of, I can't cope.
And that's really where the book, I think, gets so powerful. Mm-hmm. Because Jeffers kind of proposes this radical idea. If you genuinely believed you could handle anything, you'd be fearless.
Right.
And think about it for a second. If you knew deep down that you had the inner resources to cope with any challenge, wouldn't those everyday fears, all those other levels, start to feel a lot smaller?
Oh, 100%. It's a profound shift in perspective. And really, the rest of the book is dedicated to giving you the tools to actually cultivate that unwavering self-trust.
Right.
One of the most practical tools that she introduces is the pain to power chart.
Well, yeah.
This chart helps you identify and actually transform those negative kind of victim-based thought patterns into empowering, action-oriented perspectives.
It's so cool. It's like taking those what-if fears,
Right.
What if I fail? What if I get rejected? What if I'm not good enough?
Exactly.
And you're reframing them into statements of power and possibility.
Yes.
So instead of saying, what if I fail?
Yeah.
You might say, well, what if I learn something really valuable from this experience?
Exactly.
Or what if this leads me to an even better opportunity?
It's about consciously choosing to focus on that potential for growth and learning in every situation,
right,
rather than getting stuck in that fear of what might go wrong. And what I think is really interesting here is Jeffers isn't suggesting that we deny or suppress our fears. She acknowledges that fear is a natural part of life, especially when we're kind of stepping outside our comfort zones. She actually tells this really funny story about Ed Koch,
Oh, yeah.
the former mayor of New York City.
Wait, Ed Koch.
Yeah. Known for his bold personality,
Right.
seemingly fearless leadership.
Yeah.
Except, as it turns out, even Ed Koch had his fears.
Really?
He was terrified of learning a tap dance routine for a publicity event.
Oh, my God. The mayor of New York City. Sweating over a tap dance routine.
I know, it's kind of hilarious to imagine.
That is amazing.
But it just goes to show you, everyone experiences fear. It doesn't matter how confident they may appear on the surface. And the key takeaway here is that instead of letting that fear paralyze us, we can use it as a signal that we're actually on the right track. That we're pushing ourselves to grow and evolve.
That's such a good point. And to help us navigate that growth, Jeffers introduces another powerful tool.
Yes.
The no-lose model.
The no-lose model for decision-making.
This model completely changes the way we approach choices and challenges in life.
It really does.
I just love the no-lose model.
Me too.
It is such a simple yet profound concept. It essentially boils down to the idea that there are no wrong decisions. Only opportunities for growth and learning. Every path we choose, every experience we have, it offers us these valuable lessons and moves us forward in some way.
She has a great example in the book. She talks about this woman who is agonizing over whether to stay in her current job or take this new position.
Oh, yeah.
Which is riskier. And she's so afraid of making the wrong decision.
Right.
That she's paralyzed. She can't make a decision at all.
Right. She's frozen by indecision.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Jeffers, using the no-lose model, helps her see that both options actually offer potential benefits. So if she stayed in her current job, she could focus on, deepening her skills and building stronger relationships with her colleagues.
Right.
If she took the new position, she would have the opportunity to learn new things, expand her network, maybe increase her income. There were pros and cons to each.
Right. So it's not about, choosing the right path.
Right.
But recognizing that each path has its own unique set of benefits and challenges.
Exactly. And by focusing on the potential gains of each path, this woman was able to release that fear of making a wrong choice. And she was able to make a decision from a place of empowerment and excitement.
I love that.
Yeah, that's great.
So the no-lose model is like a permission slip to embrace uncertainty, to trust that, whatever happens, you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
It's about letting go of the need to control the outcome and just focusing on the journey itself.
It's about embracing the idea that there are no mistakes, only learning experiences.
That is so good. And that leads us to, I think, one of my favorite concepts in the book, this idea of saying yes to the universe.
Yes.
It's choosing to just embrace whatever life throws your way. To find meaning and purpose, even in really difficult circumstances.
Jeffers uses that incredible example of Viktor Frankl, who found meaning and purpose even in the horrors of a concentration camp.
It's such a powerful example.
It is. He realized that even in the most dire circumstances, we have the power to choose our response, to find that glimmer of hope and meaning.
I mean, Frankl's story is just such a testament to the human spirit.
It is.
And the power of choosing our attitude, even in the face of, unimaginable suffering.
Right.
It's a reminder that even when things feel incredibly challenging, we always have a choice in how we respond.
And saying yes to the universe doesn't mean passively accepting everything that happens.
Right.
It's about approaching life with a sense of openness, curiosity, trusting that even difficult experiences can lead to growth and transformation. It's about shifting from that mindset of resistance and complaint to a mindset of acceptance and possibility.
It's recognizing that sometimes the greatest challenges lead to the most profound breakthroughs.
Absolutely. It's about surrendering to the flow of life, trusting that even when things don't go according to plan, there's a higher purpose at play.
So what does all of this mean for us?
Right.
In our everyday lives? Jeffers really encourages us to start by noticing when we're saying no to the universe, resisting what is, complaining or dwelling in negativity,
Right.
and then to consciously shift our mindset to yes, to embrace challenges, to look for the good, and to choose to find meaning and purpose in every experience.
It's like retraining our minds to see obstacles as opportunities and setbacks as stepping stones on that path to personal growth.
And that shift in perspective is crucial for diminishing fear and cultivating that sense of empowerment.
Oh, absolutely.
Speaking of empowerment, Jeffers dives into another fascinating topic.
Okay.
The power of giving.
The power of giving, yeah. This is where the book really challenges us to examine our motivations for giving and to differentiate between giving from a place of love versus giving with an expectation of something in return.
She even shares this anecdote about giving her students a seemingly simple assignment: go home and thank their spouses.
Oh, wow. And how did that go?
And the reactions were really surprising.
Oh, really?
Many of them found it incredibly difficult to just express genuine gratitude without feeling a sense of obligation or resentment.
Wow. It's almost as if we've been conditioned to operate from a place of scarcity.
Yeah.
You know, constantly worried about what we're getting or not getting rather than focusing on what we can give freely.
Right. And that scarcity mindset keeps us trapped in fear.
It does.
You know, constantly feeling like we don't have enough love, money, recognition, whatever it may be. Jeffers argues that when we shift our focus to giving, whether it's thanks, praise, time, or love, from a place of genuine abundance, we start to experience this profound sense of fulfillment and connection.
And that sense of abundance doesn't come from having more, but from giving more.
Right.
You know, it's a powerful paradox that can transform our relationships and our experience of life. And speaking of giving.
Yeah. We've covered a lot of ground in this first part of our deep dive.
I know, right? We have.
Maybe we should just pause here.
Yeah.
And give everyone a moment to kind of let all this sink in.
That's a great idea. It's important to really digest these concepts and think about how they apply to your own life. And, you know, when we come back, we'll explore some of Jeffers' more practical strategies for putting these ideas into action.
Awesome.
Starting with the whole life grid.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, I can't wait.
Welcome back to our deep dive into Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. We left off talking about the power of giving. Ready to explore some more of those practical strategies that Jeffers gives us for, you know, putting these powerful ideas into action?
I think so, yeah. You know, one of the tools I find most helpful is that whole life grid idea.
Oh, yeah.
It's essentially a visual representation of all those different areas of your life. And it's incredibly useful in creating a sense of balance and fulfillment, you know, making sure that you're kind of firing on all cylinders. Yeah, I love the whole life grid.
Yeah.
It's such a simple concept.
It is.
But it's so powerful because it helps you see your life as this whole, rather than getting caught up in the day-to-day stresses of any one particular area.
Exactly. So Jeffers suggests, like, you know, divide your grid into these boxes.
Okay.
Each representing a key area of your life. So, you know, things like work, relationships, health, hobbies, personal growth, your contributions to the community, and of course that connection to your higher self.
It's almost like a pie chart of your life.
Yeah.
But instead of focusing on, like, you know, how you're spending your time, it's more about, like, how are you investing your energy and attention? And the idea is that, you know, when all those boxes are kind of filled with this vibrant energy, that's when you're truly living this balanced and fulfilling life.
Exactly. I mean, it makes so much sense when you think about it. Like, if you're pouring all of your energy into just one area of your life, like, say, your career, what happens when that area experiences, like, you know, a setback or loss?
Right.
It can feel like your whole world's falling apart.
Right. Like you've put all your eggs in one basket.
Exactly.
And if that basket drops, you've lost everything.
Yeah. But if you've diversified your energy, right? If you've cultivated that sense of balance across all those areas of your life, even if one area kind of, you know, takes a hit, you're still standing strong.
And that's the beauty of the whole life grid. It's not about, like, you know, achieving perfection in every area of your life.
Right.
It's more about creating this sense of balance and resilience.
Yeah.
So that you can kind of weather any storm that comes your way.
So how do we actually put this whole life grid into practice?
Yeah, good question.
Well, Jeffers, you know, she offers these really clear and actionable steps.
Okay.
And the first step is commitment. You know, she encourages you to commit to each area of your grid 100%.
Even if it's something that you don't particularly enjoy.
Even if it's something, you don't particularly enjoy, or even that you see as temporary, you know?
Right. I mean, I can see how this could be challenging, especially if you're dealing with a situation that you're not really happy with,
Right.
like a job you dislike or a relationship that's struggling.
Right. But Jeffers offers this brilliant suggestion. She says, just act as if you really count in that situation. Like, focus on making a positive contribution and creating a more fulfilling experience for yourself and others, even if it's temporary.
It's like shifting your mindset from one of resignation or resentment to one of empowerment and purpose.
Exactly. Even if you know you're not going to be in that situation forever, you can still choose to make the most of it.
It's really powerful.
It is. And often that shift in attitude, that's all it takes, It can make a world of difference. And it might even open up new opportunities that you hadn't even considered before.
I think she even had an example of that in the book, right?
Oh, yeah. She tells a great story about a student who was just like miserable in her job. And she just couldn't imagine, like, how could she possibly commit to this 100%?
Right.
And Jeffers' advice was just so simple. She's like, just act as if you love your job. Just focus on doing your best and making a positive contribution, And guess what? By shifting her mindset, she actually started to enjoy her job more. And she even found new opportunities for growth within that role.
I love that.
Yeah.
It just shows that, like, our reality is so often shaped by our perception.
Totally. Yeah.
If we choose to focus on the positive, we can find the good, even in challenging situations.
Absolutely.
We open ourselves up to a whole new range of possibilities.
Totally. So the next step in kind of activating the whole life grid is visualization. So Jeffers suggests, close your eyes. Imagine each box of your grid filled with this vibrant energy, picturing yourself, actively engaged in those areas of your life.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it's a great one, right? And this is where you can really get creative, Imagine yourself feeling happy and fulfilled in your relationships. Energized and productive at work, healthy and vibrant in your body, and deeply connected to your higher self. Don't just picture it, like, feel it. Tap into the emotions you want to experience in each of these areas of your life. And the more you can actually embody those feelings, the more you're going to attract those experiences into your reality.
Right.
Visualization is so powerful for creating change because it activates your subconscious mind. And it helps you align your thoughts and your actions with your desired outcomes. And remember, those two powerful mantras Jeffers introduces us to earlier in the book.
Yeah.
I commit 100%. I count. Bring those affirmations into your visualization practice.
So imagine yourself showing up in each area of your life with 100% commitment, knowing that you make a difference, that you count. It's about owning your power, embracing your worthiness.
I love it. And once you've kind of visualized your ideal whole life grid,
Yeah.
the next step is to take those concrete actions that bring those visualizations to life.
So this might involve setting, like, specific goals for each area of your grid.
Yeah.
Scheduling time for activities that bring you joy and fulfillment, reaching out to people who inspire you, maybe taking on some new challenges that push you outside your comfort zone.
Yeah, it's about translating those visualizations into those tangible steps that move you toward a more balanced and fulfilling life.
It's an ongoing process, right? It's not like a one-time fix.
Right. It requires conscious effort and attention, but the rewards are huge.
Speaking of rewards, one of the more surprising benefits that Jeffers talks about is the impact that this whole life grid has on your relationships.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. When you cultivate that sense of balance and fulfillment in your own life, you become a magnet for positive relationships,
Right, you radiate this sense of confidence and independence that draws people in. Think about it. Who are you more drawn to? Someone who's constantly seeking validation and approval, or someone who's, secure and content within themselves.
It's like that old saying, you can't pour from an empty cup.
Yeah. When you're depleted and needy, you tend to repel others.
Right.
But when you're overflowing with energy and aliveness, you naturally attract positive people and experiences into your life.
And that's where Jeffers connects the whole life grid back to that concept of giving. We were talking about that earlier. She argues that when you're truly fulfilled in all areas of your life, you have more to give. And you give more freely without expectation or resentment.
It's a beautiful cycle. The more you give, the more abundant you feel. And the more you attract positive experiences into your life. And Jeffers offers some really specific suggestions for, cultivating that giving spirit.
Yeah.
Well, one suggestion that really resonated with me is this idea of giving away thanks.
Oh, yeah.
Take some time to just reflect on all the people who have contributed to your life, even in small ways, and express your gratitude to them.
That's nice.
It doesn't have to be anything like, grand or elaborate.
Yeah.
It might be a simple thank you note
Mm-hmm.
or a phone call to a friend,
Yeah.
or even just a silent moment of appreciation for someone who's, made your life a little bit brighter.
Yeah.
And this practice of giving away thanks, it's incredibly powerful because it really shifts your focus from what you lack
Right.
to what you have.
Mm-hmm.
It fosters this sense of appreciation and abundance. It's like training your mind to see the good in everything,
Yeah.
to appreciate those blessings that are all around you,
Mm-hmm.
even when you're in the midst of challenges, and strengthens your relationships,
Right.
because you're acknowledging the contributions of others
Mm-hmm.
and expressing your gratitude for their presence in your life.
Another form of giving that she highlights is giving away praise. Now, this one can be a little trickier,
Oh, yeah.
especially when it comes to the people closest to us. We often take our loved ones for granted, and we focus on their flaws rather than their strengths.
Like we get so used to their awesomeness,
Right, exactly.
that we forget to actually acknowledge it. But she really encourages us to make this conscious effort to notice and appreciate those positive qualities of our loved ones, and to express our admiration and appreciation for them.
So it might involve complimenting their effort, acknowledging their accomplishments, or simply just expressing your love and appreciation for who they are.
Yeah.
It's about celebrating their strengths and letting them know how much they mean to you.
Right. And that not only strengthens our relationships,
Mm-hmm.
but it also creates this more positive and loving environment for everyone.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
And it helps you to cultivate a more positive and appreciative mindset, which is essential for overcoming fear and living a more fulfilling life. Jeffers also encourages us to give away our time, our talents, and our resources to causes that we care about.
Mm-hmm.
And she really distinguishes between giving out of obligation versus giving from a place of genuine caring and a desire to make a difference.
And she really focuses on those I count volunteers.
Yes.
The ones who find that joy and fulfillment in contributing their time and energy to something larger than themselves.
Exactly. And that sense of purpose and connection, it can be incredibly empowering. It helps us to overcome our own fears and limitations. Jeffers also emphasizes the importance of giving away love.
Okay.
And she defines love not as this feeling, but as an action, as a way of being in the world.
Mm-hmm.
That's characterized by acceptance, compassion, and a willingness to support the growth and well-being of others.
It's about letting go of your ego-driven needs and desires, and focusing on what you can contribute to the world around you.
Exactly. And this kind of love, it's not limited to romantic relationships. It can extend to our families, our friends, our communities, and even strangers. It's a powerful way of being in the world,
Right.
that can transform your life and the lives of those around you.
And it's also a powerful antidote to fear.
Right. Oh, totally. When you're focused on giving love, you have less time and energy to dwell on your own anxieties and insecurities.
This has been an incredible exploration of Jeffers' practical strategies for putting these powerful concepts that we've been talking about into action. The whole life grid, the power of giving, the importance of commitment and visualization. These are all tangible tools that we can use to create lasting change in our lives and to overcome those fears that are holding us back. But there's still more to uncover. When we come back, we'll explore how connecting with your higher self can empower you to handle fear and create positive change in all aspects of life. Welcome back to our deep dive into Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. We've explored some really incredible tools and concepts for understanding and overcoming fear. We've been talking about creating a more fulfilling life, and now it's time to tap into what might be the most powerful resource of all, your higher self.
Yeah, this idea of a higher self, it might sound a little woo-woo to some people.
Yeah, I can.
But the way Jeffers presents it, it's actually very grounded and practical.
Right.
It's not about some mystical being out there somewhere. It's about accessing a deeper part of yourself, this source of wisdom, strength, and compassion that's always available to you.
So it's like tapping into your kind of inner guidance system.
Exactly.
Yeah, that voice of intuition and knowing that often gets drowned out by the noise of everyday life.
Mm-hmm. And Jeffers uses like, a lot of different terms interchangeably.
Yeah.
Higher self, inner self, superconscious, even like God self.
Wow. Yeah.
But ultimately, it's about connecting to that part of you that sees that bigger picture, that understands your true potential and really guides you toward your highest good.
I think we've all had glimpses of this higher self in action. Those moments when you just know, without a doubt, what the right thing to do is, even if it, goes against all logic,
right,
or conventional wisdom.
Or those times when you act with incredible courage or generosity, seemingly effortlessly, as if you're being guided by some unseen force.
Yes, like those moments of clarity, of deep knowing. Those are often like glimpses of your higher self at work.
They are. And the amazing thing is that you can actually cultivate a more conscious connection to this part of yourself.
So it's like building a muscle. The more you practice tuning into your higher self, the stronger that connection becomes.
Exactly, yeah. And Jeffers suggests several practices that can really help you do that. Meditation is a powerful tool for quieting the mind, creating that space for that inner wisdom to kind of bubble up.
Yeah, I find that spending time in nature is really helpful too.
Oh, yeah.
There's something about the vastness of the ocean or the stillness of a forest that helps to quiet the mind and open up to that sense of awe and wonder.
And don't underestimate the power of creative pursuits. Whether it's painting, writing, dancing, playing music, engaging in those kinds of creative activities, it allows you to kind of tap into that flow state where the ego steps aside and your higher self can express itself more freely.
So it's about creating space and opportunities for that inner wisdom to kind of come through. But how do we actually listen to it?
Yeah, that's the big question, right?
Right. How do we differentiate between the voice of the higher self and all the other voices that are in our heads?
Right. That's where Jeffers' model of the chatterbox, the conscious mind, and the subconscious mind comes in. Remember, we talked about this a little earlier. You've got the chatterbox, which is that voice of, fear, doubt, and negativity,
Oh, yeah.
It's that voice that's constantly trying to, keep you small and safe. It's the one that tells you you're not good enough, that you're going to fail, that you should just play it safe.
The chatterbox is exhausting.
Oh, it is?
And sometimes it's so convincing.
Oh, it is. It's very persuasive.
But then there's the conscious mind, which is like, the CEO of your mental space. It gets to decide which voice to listen to.
Right, the chatterbox or that higher self.
Right.
Yeah.
And the subconscious mind.
Yeah.
That's like the powerful computer that carries out the instructions that it receives from the conscious mind. So the key here is to train your conscious mind to recognize the voice of the higher self.
Yeah.
And to actually choose to align with its guidance.
So it's a conscious choice. It's a moment-to-moment decision to tune into that wisdom of your higher self rather than getting swept away by those, fears and doubts of the chatterbox.
But how do we actually make that choice when the chatterbox is like screaming so loudly?
It takes practice. The more you cultivate that awareness of your thoughts and emotions, the more easily you'll be able to recognize those fear-based thoughts and just choose to shift your focus, And remember, you don't have to silence the chatterbox completely.
Right.
It's always going to be there. But you can choose to give it less power, less attention.
So it's like turning down the volume on the chatterbox and turning up the volume on the higher self.
Exactly. And the more you do that, the stronger and clearer that inner voice of wisdom becomes.
And this connection to the higher self, this isn't just about feeling good.
No, it's not.
This is about making a positive impact on the world.
Absolutely. Jeffers talks about how that energy of the higher self, it naturally extends outward, influencing your relationships, influencing your actions. It inspires you to act with kindness, compassion, and generosity. It allows you to really see that interconnectedness of all beings and to act in ways that benefit the greater good.
It's like becoming a ripple of positivity, spreading love and light wherever you go. And this brings us back to that contribution box in the whole life grid. Remember how Jeffers emphasizes that, true contribution, it comes not from a sense of obligation, but from this place of joy and a desire to make a difference.
And that's where the magic happens.
Right. When you're connected to your higher self, you naturally feel that sense of abundance and gratitude, which inspires you to share your gifts with the world, to make that positive impact in whatever way feels authentic to you.
It's like this beautiful synergy, you know?
Connecting with your higher self empowers you to live this more fulfilling life. And that fulfillment naturally overflows into a desire to give back.
Yeah.
To make a difference in the world.
And that, my friend, is what Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway is all about. It's about recognizing your own power, embracing your potential, and living a life that's really aligned with your deepest values and purpose. This deep dive has been just an incredible journey, you know, exploring the depths of Susan Jeffers' work. And we've covered so much from understanding the nature of fear to the power of positive thinking, the whole life grid, that transformative power of giving, and this profound impact of connecting with your higher self. And the beauty of it is that all of these tools and insights are available to you right now. You have everything you need to face your fears, create a more fulfilling life, and make a positive difference in the world. So as Susan Jeffers would say, feel the fear and do it anyway.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll see you next time for another exploration of powerful ideas that can transform your life.